Okay, here we go. Bamboo Studio, and I'm going to grab our Apple file, non-manifold edges. They don't like that, so prepare. If you have problems in the model, it will be a nightmare to edit. So we're going to go ahead and fix that now, and then we're going to come down here and export STL, and we're just going to call this dash fix, whatever. Jump over to Tinkercad. First thing I'm going to do is bring a ruler down here, just to make things easier. And I'm going to click on import, and I'm going to grab our fix file and just drag it into that import window. You can also click on the import button, doesn't matter. This is going to take a minute. So while it's thinking, I'm going to go over to Inkscape, another free tool. I'm going to click on file and import, and I'm going to select our picture. Excuse me. I've got a little box that came up on the screen. Import. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and holding what? Control? Yeah, control. Shrink that down a little bit so it fits inside our page space because that matters for reasons. I'm going to go over to multicolor and tell it I want 3 colors. Okay, that looks alright. Background. Let's do it by colors. I've got a purple, a white, a black. Let's turn the smoothness down just a little bit. Optimize up just a little bit, maybe. That might work. What did we get? Where are my objects? There we go. We got path 1. Let's turn the image off. Let's see what we got to work with. We got a purple path and a black path. I didn't get a white path. Okay, so good that we did that. Let's go back to the image, and yeah, I guess I want 4 colors for white as well. That will probably be useful. And try it again. And go back over to images. Let's turn off the background and see what we got. You know what? We really don't need the white because we can print this on white. Okay, so let's go back. Let's check on Tinkercad. Hey, we finally got this. Tinkercad takes a while, so I'm using Inkscape to fill time. Those lines do not make me happy. This is going to be a real nightmare to clean up because this surface is not flat. That's the problem. So I'm going to grab a hole here, and I'm just going to put it. What I'm looking for is where it turns that kind of shadowy color. That's where it's going to cut things out. You know what? Let's just try this. Let's put it in the corner here, and let's draw the box all the way down in the corner here. I have no idea if that's going to work or not. I imagine that's not going to work. It doesn't look very uniform. No, that edge was not clean. Try there. Just drag it down in the corners. Looks a little bit cleaner, so we'll work with that. Okay. No, that's going to bite in. That's going to leave a line. Hate modifying STLs. I'm going to go back in the middle of the M here. I have a feeling that that triangle between the M is probably going to be pretty level. Pretty close to what we want. So, go back in here and just stretch that out and cover up this kipper. We don't need it. Okay. We want to get rid of the apple. So I'm going to drag another hole over here and put it on this surface. I'm going to hit W, which brings up my work plane tool or workspace tool, whatever it is, and click on this surface. Notice my plane now focuses over here. I'm going to hit D for drop. So now my cube is in that corner, nice and tight. Hit W again, just to get rid of that view because I don't want it. I need to pull this corner out. This is just going to be a big old box to eat up an apple. So just make that however big it needs to be to cover the apple. Cool. Alright, let's see what happens. Select all those and then click the group button or Control G. That's going to take a minute. Tinkercad is not fast with large STLs, and at over 1.5 meg, this is a large STL. So back in Inkscape. Back to our trace, I've got... I'm going to turn on stack and uncheck remove background and see what we get. So for my output, let's turn off the image. Probably want to get rid of the background, honestly. That's my black image, that's my purple. What's that one? Okay, cool. So path 7 is our background. We got our white, we got our purple. It didn't fill the lines, of course it didn't. You know what? I don't care about those. I want the purple and the black. So this one is our black layer. I export just this one. I have to turn off the other side. File, export. It's just the black. Export select only. And we want to call this an SVG. And I'm going to put this in our project folder. So we'll just put this here. We'll just logo black. SVG. And back here and select that, select this one, and put that one. There's probably better ways to do this. I really haven't used this all that much. No, I don't want to. Oh, there we go. Purple. Export. So if I go back up here, I've got black and purple SVGs. Cool. I need those. So back to Tinkercad. Hey, we got a blue outline. In Tinkercad, when it's thinking about something, the outline turns red. Once it turns blue, then it's done thinking about it. That's what I was waiting for. There's a couple little anomalies on there. What I'm looking for here is how much does that line stick up? It looks to be pretty darn tight in there. Might not be enough to show up. We'll roll with it. We'll see how it goes. You can always come back and do it if you need to. You can always select it and hit Control-Shift-G for ungroup, which I'm going to do because it's going to chew up a bunch of time. Let's import and we'll come in here and choose our black SVG. I'm going to tell it to make this 60. Oh, it did a whole thing. Okay, we'll do 60 width. Whatever. See how this turns out. So on that, I'm going to do the same thing with the purple. This actually might be a good thing that it did the outline, because now we can ensure that it is uniform. 60 width. Hopefully it doesn't have that actual white background. Should I disable? Background color. It has it's white but with 0, so it should be okay. We'll see what happens. Tinkercad takes me. While that's thinking, I'm going to drag a red box over here and drop it onto the side. And then I'm going to slide that down so it hooks through. And on this side, I'm going to grab the right one, slide that out. What I'm doing is measuring. This is a poor man's measuring tool. It's 52 millimeters from that wall to the end of here. Cool. I want to put a 10 millimeter peg in there. So one, bring that back 5, and then bring that down to 37. It gives me 5 millimeters on the end, 10 millimeters for a hole. Cool. I'm going to bring a hole tool over and attach it to the end of that. Size this down to where I want want it to be 5 wide and 10 deep. I don't care how tall it is. Cool. By clicking out of that, I'm now back in my normal view, so I'll select that and just drop it down because I want it to punch all the way through. I want to make sure it goes all the way through. I'm going to select both my hole and my model, hit L for align, click on my model, and then click the center tool. So this is now centered to the model and 5 millimeters in. Awesome. I'm going to duplicate that with Control D and then change it into a solid. To make that actually stand up somewhere, I'm going to hit D again, just so we have it there. Cool. I don't need this anymore. This was just a temporary measuring plot. But we've got our black and our red over here, and it did not import the other bits. Fantastic. I want to import. I'm going to come over here and type in high res. Should give me resolution cylinder. There it is. This light blue one is the high resolution cylinder. I want that one because the standard cylinder that you have doesn't have very many faces on it. And even if you crank it all the way up, when you go to print it, it shows the blue one looks much better. 60. I don't. Okay. Don't hit tab. Sorry, I'm used to Fusion. I think that's 60 millimeters. I think 60 sounds about right. And we're going to make this 4.6 millimeters tall. Reason being is I've got our two different colors over here. I'm going to make each one of those 2 millimeters. These probably need to be more than one layer thick, so those 0.4. 0.4 millimeters. And make you light. And what we're going to want to do is, let's make that 4.4. We'll just stack this all. So this surface is 4.4. I'm going to do some cheating on this. I'm going to hit W to select this work face, then click my black one and hit D. I'm going to hit W again to go to my black one, select the purple one, and hit D. That has now perfectly lined those things up so that they are stacked on top of each other. Select them all, hit L to bring up the alignment tool, bring them together. Huh. Okay. Well, so it turns out these were not. Okay. So we'll fix that. Yeah, they weren't 60. Okay. We'll just drag them out. I'm not going to get those exactly 60. Of course not. Oh well. Holding down Shift enforces to keep it square. So I'm going to get that to about 60. Or I can just type 60. Utterly perfect. And keep it the same. It should square up. Okay. Of course, I've lost my vertical to it because when you hold down Shift, it changes all dimensions. So I'll reset these both to 40. 0.40. WD, WD, grab all of them, hit L, and line them up. Okay. So that gives you a 5 millimeter thick disc with 3 colors, and might work, maybe? I don't know. Tell you what, here's what we can do. I'm going to duplicate my purple layer, and I'm going to hide one of them. I'm going to take my existing purple layer, turn it into a hole, and then take these two, and we're going to line them up again, but this time we're going to use the vertical line, middle dot, and I'm going to group those together. if I've done my job right, the purple should cut out from the black. While that's thinking, I'm going to make this 5 points. You know what? We'll leave it 5.4. That's oops, it's 4.4. Okay, so now we have what should be just the black. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Control Shift H to unhide. Maybe that works. Now we're going to make these layers a little bit taller. Make those 0.8. Need to be 0.8, but let's do it anyways. Yeah, that one needs to be 0.8 as well. And then select the white, draw the purple, select the black, white, purple. Okay. So now we actually have cutouts. Where the purple and the black they don't overlap anywhere. Just purple and black on white. Maybe that works. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Excuse me. I need to select. I should have been doing this earlier. Select my hole back here. See, it's the hole, not the red. My gold plate and Control G to group those while that is thinking. Drag this over. This one is 5 by 10. And that plate, how deep is this plate? That's fine. Take that and drop it down. You are 6 millimeters there. Okay. So I'm going to grab our red block over here. And we're going to make you 4.8 by, oh no, that one needs 9.8. 9.8 by 4.8, just a tiny bit of clearance. 6 millimeters deep, so I'll make that maybe 8. 8 probably works. We'll line these up to the white one. We're just going to jam this up using the keyboard arrows. I'm going to get close just to see. That probably works. Yeah, that's fine. So we're going to group white ones together. Cool. So now I have. Actually, wait, how much did that do everything? You know, it's fine. If it sticks up a little bit, it's fine. So now it's still thinking about that one. We'll go ahead and export STL. This is sign white. We'll export this one. This is import export. This is sign black. Type sign black and export. Apparently the purple one is a little bit more intense, so we'll let that think. Now you'll notice that all of these are lined up in the place where I want them when they print. That's important. Sign purple. Purple. So I've got 3 STLs for that, and now that my hole has finished drilling through there, I can export this, and we're just going to call it Fabulous Tuli or whatever the heck it is. Okay, back into Bamboo Studio. So there's our original sign. Right click, replace the STL. And we're going to go up a layer and pick our Fabulous Tuli. And let's center that so we can see it. And great, we've got more manifold edges. Before I get into that, looks pretty clean. Okay, cool. So let's fix those edges. This is a single thread process. It's annoyingly slow. Looks pretty good here. Slice plate. Let's make sure that it actually slices clean. Looks pretty clean. Cool. Back to prepare. Let's say I want to put a teacher's name on here. As teacher. And I want a fun font. What's the name of the one that I like? Can't remember that. I had a fun one. Oh well, whatever. Teachers like Broadway, so Broadway, whatever. So Miss Teacher, the bigger 20. Unfortunately, there's no alignment tools on this, so you just kind of have to eyeball it, which is hard when it's all the same color, but okay, there's Miss Teacher. Cool. Done deal. Let's move that out of the way, and we're going to go back to our folder. I'm going to select all three sign pieces, all three at once. This is important. Drag it over, drop it in. It's going to prompt me. Yes, I do want to load this as a single object, multiple parts. Now it is one object and it's all there. I don't have to worry about like trying to line things up and get them to float in space or anything. That's why you export them together where you want them. I don't have the appropriate colors lined up, but because we named them with what they should be, I can come in here and select my black one and make it black, and we'll just pretend my gold is my purple. So, yeah, maybe. Or did I have those backwards? Maybe. Where's my source art? Nope. It's purple on the outside, black. Oh, well, looks like I didn't quite get it right. That's unfortunate. So the purple, you know what, I'll just make this purple. Doesn't matter, this is just for my benefit. Yeah, I got those backwards. That's what it was. So change filament purple, change filament black. Yeah, looks a lot better. Got our sign with a very slightly smaller peg that should fit nicely into that. Got our teacher sign. Now, to make this print nicely and save a bunch of filament, open up a new work plate and grab this guy, bring him over here. Right click, fill bed with copies. Boom, there's a whole bunch of them. Teacher plate, same thing, fill bed with copies. Cool. Now, there's a bug in the software. It's not showing me all the texts and all of the actual objects that are in here. I always forget how to fix this. I think I need to move one of them. I tell it to arrange, maybe? There we go. Just tell it to arrange, and it brings all those objects back in. So now I have 4 nameplates, and I can come in here and change the text on one of them to say that this is not Mrs. Teacher, this is Miss Coach. Cool. So I can go through and print 4 of these at a time, and I can print out a whole bunch of these on another plate. And since this one, all the color swaps are happening on the same layers, if I come in here and turn on my perch or my prime tower and put that somewhere where it belongs, you're going to have a lot less waste slicing this by having a whole bunch of them on one than you would by doing them one at a time. Oh wow, the slicer's having fun with that. Considering the lower resolution of the printing, that might work. These would probably print better if they were face down. Maybe. You'd have to play with the slicer settings on this, maybe coming back in and shrinking top surface lines to make them a little bit smaller. And there's a lot you could play with, turning on ironing, things like that. I think these things come out better if you print them face down, which would be going back into our Tinkercad, and we could pretty much do what we already did again. I could take my black and my purple and duplicate them, and I'm going to hide those just so they're out of the way. I'm going to take my white box, and I'm going to make it 5. Make these guys holes first. Take my white box, make it 5 tall. That should now punch a hole through there. I'll group them together. Well, that's grouping. Almost done. The red line is thinking. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. I'm going to pause it for a second. And we're back. This is going to be a little bit sloppy with that edge around it, but we'll live. Control Shift H to unhide that. Now I have a nice flat uniform surface on the top. So I can re-export these all again. Actually, my black and purple didn't change, so I don't need to export those, but I'm going to group my sine base together again. Now that that's a complex model, it's going to take a second. And pause. Okay, we're back. It turned it red because I blended it with a red block, so it's back to line. Not that it matters, that's just my visual. Okay, cool. So let's export this, and we'll call it sine white up, sine white down, because we're face down. Now it's still facing upwards. Wait, hang on. I forgot about that. That almost got me. Let's ungroup that and take you and go up to that. So, where is it? There it is. That's fine. I just want to line that up to this top surface. And didn't. Oh, am I still in mid? I'm in midpoint. No, I'm in midpoint. Okay. And why did I not line up right? Okay, whatever. I'm going to select my white block and my red block. Hit L to bring up the alignment tool. Click on my white block. It says you're lined up. You're obviously not. Oh, never made that follow. It's like, okay, hang on. What did I do wrong? What did I do? Just hit undo a whole bunch. Oh, you're 5. I did something horribly wrong here. I'm gonna have to backtrack a little bit. And of course, it's thinking. I'm just gonna hit Control Z a whole bunch to make this stuff go away. Okay, so we're back to having our. Oh, I made it 4.8, so that was 5.2. Okay, that's. Let's just fix this. Let's ungroup that. You are going to be 5 tall. That's better. You are still going to be 4.8. That's fine. Purple and black layers. I want you to be 0.4 thick. That's all we need. 2 layers is fine. It's also easier on the print. If they're 0.4 thick, that is 5. And on the bottom, I can take you and put you at 5 or 4.6. 4.6. You're blurred into the surface. I can take you and put you at 4.6. You're blurred into the surface. Excellent. What I want to do is hide those two just for a moment. I'm going to duplicate those. I can make it a whole. Without unclicking or anything, I'm going to hit Control H to hide the duplicates. Select my new ones, turn them into holes. Wait a second. I screwed up because when I unhide, my focus there. How to do this a little bit less dumb. Oh, let me just move them around. Grab one, see what I get. I got a hole, that's fine. See if I can get lucky on the other one. Nope, that's a purple layer. And do I get the hole on this one? I did, yay! Red little triangle, pull it down. Cool, separated. So purple layer at 4.6. Black layer, or whatever you are, doesn't matter. In there. Cool. Now I've got both of those on the white, and put those together. While that's thinking, I'll take this, move you back to 4.6. You and you back to 4.6. all that crazy raster cell shading, whatever it is, I don't know what you call that, whatever that is, that'll go away once it finishes merging everything together. That's what it shows you when you have surfaces overlapping. There we go. Perfect. Now let's grab my white and my red and group those together so that my sign has a peg in it. That peg, of course, being just ever so slightly smaller, more than enough room for printer errors and tolerances and whatnot. I export the purple layer while it's thinking. I think the purple layer was the complex one too, for whatever reason. Thinking it's jolly time. Oh wait, screwed up again. The whole reason I came back in here, I forgot about it. It's canceled. I need to ungroup that. So my little red peg needs to go up just a tiny bit so that it's properly in line. And now it's going to overlap there, of course. Well, in doubt, duplicate, whole, combine. Oh, and of course I duplicated the thing with all of the... When did I do? Undo that. Yeah, I'm dumb sometimes. Okay, so let's ungroup that. Get rid of those layers because we don't. Get rid of those because we don't need them. Turn you into a hole. Drop you back down. Grab our red block and group. Okay, now we have a profile cut out of that red block. So now it won't merge with everything else. I don't know why you think you're a hole. Let's make you white again. Okay, I think we're back to where we need to be. Merge those two together. This matters because there's that tiny little one layer gap down there. I want to have that flush with this top surface. While that thinks, this time I'm going to grab our black layer, export, STL. Actually, you know what? Make this even easier. Grab all of that. Not all of it, I don't want the gold. All of that. Get our little spinny wheel, flip you 180. Now you're face down. Now it's a little bit more obvious where that gap was right here. Grab our purple layer, export. Sign down, purple. Grab our black layer, export. Sign down, black. And grab our white layer, export, STL. Sign down, white. Back over to Bevo Studio. I'm going to clear this plate. Alright, I can't drag. Objects. Size. Delete. Whatever. Go back to our window and find the sound sign down. Drag those in. Yes, one object, please. Black layer needs to be black. Purple layer needs to be purple. Did I make the same mistake I did before? Yes, I did. Don't know why. Probably because I never changed it. Drawing. So now we have our purple, our black, and our white. Cool. If I slice that, let's see what our first layer looks like. Yeah, there's some gaps in there. That didn't work well, but I mean, you could come back and work on this some. I have a different profile for face down signs. Face up signs. You have to play with that. That's going to be small to get that kind of detail in, and you might be able to really crank the first layer down 3.8, 3.2 maybe. It's a lot of gaps. What does the second layer look like? That's still a lot of gaps. Yeah, that's not going to work too well. I don't like the way that looks. That's a lot of detail for such a small area. Those might need to come out on a 0.2 nozzle or have a much better STL to work with. But as an example, I mean, you could do it that way. On a textured plate, that would help smear it in. That's why I was using a textured plate. And I just fill that in. Yeah, in this case, the face up sign would work better, but you could probably work with the STL and get it face down. It's only 5 layer changes, so not terrible. And if I fill the bed with those, then it's still just going to be 5 layer changes. So even though it takes forever to render, it's still just the same 5 layer changes, and the poop doesn't really go up that much. I mean, in fact, I think the poop is exactly the same. So you get a lot better economy out of it that way. These, you can print these off with the different teacher names in them, and 1, 2, 3, 4, just plug your signs into them, and you're done. So just an example. Hope it helps.